against violence. I don't intend to use violence or to take over the government of Madam Aquino. There is no reason why she should fear me. My mother is dead and I would like to go home. I do not intend to return to the Philippines unless I am needed there. If my return will start a civil war, the answer is no.
So what would it take for you to go back to the Philippines?
What do you think? It would be a call by the people themselves. I don't intend to go there voluntarily offering my services and insisting that I be president.
But it never happened. I mean, you know, there was never a moment, there was never a time when we thought he was actually going to leave. I mean, you know, or be allowed to go back to the Philippines.
After many attempts to move to another country failed, the Marcoses remained in Hawaii until Ferdinand's death in 1989 at the age of 72.
Doctors said kidney and lung failure and a widespread infection added to the cardiac arrest that led to Marcos's death. That came shortly after the arrival from California of Marcos's son, Ferdinand Jr., who's known as Bong Bong.
When Bong Bong arrived, I think he felt that his son was there, so he opened his eyes. And after opening his eyes, that was it. His accomplishments are beyond imagination. As I said, I'm very sure every Filipino, they might not realize it now, but I'm very sure every Filipino will say that President Marcos was the greatest president. And history will prove this.
Good afternoon, it's 12:58. You're on KISS AM Radio. It is true, and a lot of people have been in shock about what has happened over the last 8 to 10 hours.
This radio station is the only one here that caters to Filipinos. And today its switchboards lit up. Some people were angry that the flags at the Philippine consulate will not be flown at half staff.
Since President Marcos was the sixth president and Aquino was only a senator, and they did that to Aquino, why can't they do that to ex-President Marcos?
Some say his body should be allowed home.
Can we do something about it, or we cannot do nothing?
Here in Hawaii, we cannot do anything about it.
Following his death, President Corazon Aquino would not allow entry of Marcos's remains into the Philippines.
I have always considered only one thing, his wish, and the wish of every Filipino to be buried and laid to rest in peace in his motherland.
So much has happened since the death of Ferdinand Marcos less than 24 hours ago. More recently, his body was made available for viewing as a deluge of reporters was allowed into the Marcos home. Leading the way, Imelda Marcos, still fighting for her husband's right to return to the Philippines.
How can you find this man dangerous to security when he is now resting in peace forever?
Imelda Marcos now stands alone against criminal charges for allegedly looting her country of billions. She will vindicate herself, she says, once she resolves the long-standing issue of whether Marcos's body can return to his homeland.
This is so cruel, so inhuman, and so immoral.
His rule changed our country beyond recognition. In what ways he changed it, I leave to others and to history to describe.
But when I came to Manila, I had an interview with President Aquino. And I never forget this. I said, I can't remember everything, but I remember, how can you not allow him to come back? I mean, if he's already deceased, what's the big deal? That was my question. And she was very strong and said, basically, dead or alive, if he returns, it will create upheaval in our country. And I went, oh, okay. Because that's how strong Marcos was. And she knew it, and she wasn't gonna, she wasn't gonna make light of it. So she said, basically, no, I'm not gonna let him come back.
Still, the world wanted to know what happened to the money and would the Marcoses be held accountable. Imelda Marcos would face a highly publicized trial in New York City on charges that she raided the country's treasury and invested the money in the United States. She was acquitted.
It is the most publicized return to the Philippines since General Douglas MacArthur's during World War II.
Marcos, how are you feeling? Very excited and very happy.
Imelda Marcos.
You're not afraid? No.
It was a long flight, and we all thought about the same thing. What was it going to be like when we landed? I think I'm going to get blown up in this plane with her. And no, we didn't. The whole airport was filled with their supporters.
Keep going, keep moving, keep moving.
Just like General MacArthur, Imelda Marcos has returned.
My father's fervent wish that he be buried in a simple soldier's ceremony. This was in keeping with his idea that he was but a soldier doing his duty, a citizen serving his country. We have waited 27 years to fulfill that wish that he left us with. But we are here today, and we are able to grant him that wish. And it is left to the family, and I speak in their behalf, on behalf of the Marcos family, to thank all those who actually helped and made this day a reality. And to the Filipino people, for their continuing support of my father's dream of unity and progress for our country.
Salamat, Apo. Salamat, President Ferdinand Marcos.